You're watching Kenosha Community Media.
Well, pay Jason for me.
Either he wants to say something or eat something, one of the two.
Take the opportunity to put our musical interest.
Acting, dancing, and now singing a Grammy winner.
Those movies, and particularly Night Shift, and you did Gung Ho.
Really? Never knew that.
Welcome to Just Talkin'. We have a great show for you today. We are here at the Kenosha Public Museum at the International Holiday Festival, so let's go on in. Okay, here we are at the Kenosha Public Museum at their Harbor Holiday event, and I am with your name?
Ed Duty.
Ed, the one who just did a great job here, kicking off the holiday here. What do you think of the event today?
Oh, it looks great. All the people we're going to take a walk around when we get done here.
And then do you still perform elsewhere, a hobnob?
Well, I play when Lillian takes a break. I fill in for her, but I'm at Zazzy B's every Wednesday. Been there about 5 years now, 7 to 9. I got the early shift. Yeah, that's great. It's a great place to play. They're wonderful, wonderful over there.
And what did you play today at this event?
Today I just played all Christmas music. I didn't play anything else. That's all I was supposed to play. No Gershwin today, no Cole Porter, just Christmas.
Well, we'll definitely have to check out Zazzy B's. Do you ever did your own music, wrote your own music at all?
No, I haven't gotten that far yet.
All right.
Haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, we're still waiting. So we thank you so much for coming out to this
Jason,
event.
It's great to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been a while. It's been at the Kenosha Public Museum, and I'm with your name.
I'm Teresa Balchunas DiCello, and we're having a lot of fun here.
And let's hear about what booth are you representing?
Oh, we represent the Lithuanian booth, and we have some Lithuanian ornaments, Lithuanian weaving, Lithuanian doll clothes, Lithuanian amber. We have cookies. We had kugelis that sold out, so we're really having a good time here.
Oh, and the dress that you're wearing, is that an ethnic?
Yeah, I'm wearing a Lithuanian dress to represent a certain part of Lithuania, and it's hand embroidered and it's made very nicely, and it represents a certain district of Lithuania.
Museum, and I'm with your name.
My name is Marisela.
And what booth are we representing today?
We are representing the Ballet Folclórico Regional Mexicano. We come from Beach Park, Illinois. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to teaching people about the Mexican culture through music and dance.
And I saw your performance upstairs. It was absolutely phenomenal, and the costumes and everything.
Yes, we do our best to represent each area, each state, and be as authentic as possible with our costumes, our outfits, and the actual dances being performed.
And you guys had some great food here today. What did we have at the booth?
We had tostadas de tinga. Tinga is shredded chicken with chipotle sauce, and then a variety of condiments that go with it. It's not very spicy. It can be a little bit mild or spicy, but it's a delicious meal that everybody tends to like.
Okay, here we are at the Kenosha Public Museum at the International Holiday event. And your name?
Annalisa.
Annalisa, what booth are we at today?
We're at Ruffalo's Pizza.
All right, well, that's absolutely delicious. What did you have to offer at your booth?
We had homemade meatball sliders and lasagna soup, and both were homemade.
That's great. Well, let's talk about Ruffalo's Pizza. Where are you guys located?
We are South Sheridan Road, and Pleasant Prairie.
And what do you have to offer there?
We have pizzas, dinners, homemade pasta dishes, homemade sandwiches, and it's a sit-down, family-style restaurant or takeout. You can call ahead and pick up.
And what did you think of the event today?
It was great. It was awesome. We sold out. We had homemade meatball sliders and lasagna, like I said, and we were done by 3 o'clock.
If anyone want more information about Ruffalo's Pizza, is there a phone number or website?
Yes, we are we are on Facebook. You can find us at Ruffalo's Pizza on Facebook, or our phone number is 262-694-4003, and you can look us up.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the event today. It was a great event. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, here we are now at KEMPER Center at the Simmons Auditorium, and I'm honored to be here with Flora Duty. And Flora, you're involved in KEMPER Center. Let's hear what's your role in.
My official title is Special Projects Coordinator for the Anderson Arts Center. So one of the projects is Twilight Jazz, which this is our 14th year. And then from that, about 9 years ago, people were saying we should have something during the winter, and that's how Snowflake Jazz came about. And it's part of Christmas at KEMPER. So this is our 9th year of Snowflake Jazz, and John Crawford Jazz Band has been with us for all 9 years, so really excited about that.
Well, I'll tell you, just the ambience of this, it's just a great night to have this going on as well. And well, in those Twilight Jazz, they pack them in. I mean,
Our crowds now are anywhere from 500 to 1,000.
So then I guess the big question, why should somebody come out to KEMPER and or Anderson Arts Center?
Well, if you took it just from a historic standpoint, these buildings have been here for over 100 years. And it's the mission of a community like Kenosha to keep its history, and these buildings are important. Anderson Arts Center was donated by the Anderson family after Mrs. Anderson passed away, and that's another historic landmark. So it's our mission to not only provide this community of art experiences, but also to maintain the property for future generations.
And if anybody want more information about the KEMPER or Anderson, is there a phone number or website or anything?
Well, there are two websites. There's a KEMPER Center Inc. website. There's an Anderson Arts Center website as well. So there's all kinds of information. And then we're in other publications as well, from local paper. Kenosha News is very, very good about promoting what we do. So there's all kinds of ways of finding out who we are. But the best way is just come on over.
Absolutely. I agree. Like an event like this, the Snowflake Jazz, which is a great ambience. It's going to be a great time with the great music and for the holidays. And Flora, thanks so much for all your work and taking the time for an interview.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, here we are at the KEMPER Center, Simmons Auditorium, and I'm honored to be here for this Snowflake Jazz event. And I'm with your name?
John Crawford.
And I'm Susan Crawford.
And the name of the group?
The John Crawford Jazz Band.
All right. Well, it's just a great time here tonight. What songs or performance are you going to be playing?
We've got a mix of standard nice jazz tunes and some Christmas tunes like I'll Be Home for Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, maybe some Jingle Bells, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Mm-hmm. Sue's, one of her favorites is Santa Baby. She gets everybody their list of what they need to get for Christmas.
Yeah.
And Sue, you're the vocal?
Yes, I am.
All right. How'd you get involved in the group?
Well, about 40 years ago, John and I were performing in a wedding band in college, and we've been doing it ever since. We've been married for 36 years now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Now, this, I believe, you've been every year with this Snowflake Jazz. Is that my understanding?
They've had us, I think, from the beginning, so we're flattered to get asked back every year. Apparently we're doing something right, and they must like what we're doing. So it's fun. It's fun to jazz up Christmas tunes and regular tunes.
As far as where else do you guys perform at, besides here?
Well, we perform on occasion at the Boathouse here in Kenosha and at Sassy B. And John plays with a number of bands, some big bands. And
yeah, I play with a group of guys. Some of the ones you're going to see here, the bass player, sax, drums, and piano at Sassy B's. Every Monday night we're there as a quartet. Sometimes Sue will sit in, but usually it's not with vocals. And we do private events, like next Saturday we've got a Christmas party up in Racine. So some private events, some weddings, some fundraisers. And we're playing at the Boathouse with a group called the Cucumbers, which one of my other brothers started. Every other Friday we do that when we can.
And as far as more information, do you guys have like a website or a Facebook presence?
We do, CrawfordJazzBand.com. And we try to keep our calendar accurate. Sometimes I forget to post things, but...
This is great. I mean, you guys are just a great group here to perform here. It's great for the holidays, too, as well. And it's just going to be a fun event. So thank you so much for coming out today and performing for KEMPER Center. And it's a great honor to meet you guys. So thanks so much.
You're welcome, Jason.
And
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a parent, I know one of the most important times to be with your children is when they aren't feeling well. For many families, there's a place they can go to find the support they need.
Ronald McDonald House Charities programs provide that supportive environment so families can be together while their children are dealing with serious illnesses.
You can volunteer your time at a local Ronald McDonald House or drop your change in an RMHC canister.
Today is a great day for all of us to show our support.
To find out how you can get involved in your community, visit rmhc.org.
Okay, welcome back, and here we are in Oak Lawn, Illinois, where we are in front of the home of Rick Goldschmidt. So I thought, let's go pay him a visit and see what he's doing for the holidays. All right, let's knock on the door and talk to Rick. Hi, Rick. Hey. Thanks for coming, for letting us see your house here, and Rick Goldschmidt. So let's go check on, see what he has to offer. Here we are at the home of Rick Goldschmidt. Rick, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. Thanks so much for letting us in here. Originally, we're going to talk about a certain subject, but a holiday subject. But walking in here, this is a really neat toy house, in my opinion. How did you get involved with this toy collection?
It just came out of my love for art. I'm an illustrator. My degree's in illustration. And Jack Davis and Paul Coker, who designed all the Rankin Bass holiday specials and films, are two of my favorite artists. So once I started collecting their work and Rankin Bass's work, it kind of branched out into the Green Hornet, Batman, monster stuff, and all kinds of pop culture.
That is roughly about, do you have a count of how many items are in here?
No, it's probably it's probably like 4,000 items, I would say, at least.
Is that going to collector shows, eBay?
Yeah, I used to go to the St. Charles toy fair out there, the antique toy show, and I bought a lot of stuff there, and I appeared there a few years ago. And when eBay was booming and a lot of movie conventions and things like that.
Okay, Rick, so we're standing right now in your living room here, and let's hear kind of generally what you have.
It's a lot of music related and also pop culture things. My band actually practices in this area here, really? So... yeah, it's kind of tight, but we enjoy it. I have the Captain Action collection there, which a lot of that's pretty rare stuff, and different. I have a whole TV guide collection from the mid-'60s too, and sometimes I have to use them to reference Rankin Bass things and see when they aired, what time they aired and what kind of ads are in there and so forth.
And then you got some classic Muppet from the Sesame Street area.
Oh, yeah. I actually have the very first licensed Kermit the Frog puppet over there that Ideal Toys put out in 1965. And then I have his first puppets, Wilkins and Wonkins, that he did for Wilkins Coffee. So I love the early Jim Henson stuff that he did before I was even born.
Right. Does a museum ever approach you to have stuff showcased in or as an exhibit?
Yeah, I've been talking to a few museums in Chicago too about doing an exhibit, so it's been in quite a few areas.
Anything else that we touched? I think we touched. Oh, the and is that you got those classic masks as well? Those box masks. Where'd you get those? Or
yeah, I like the old packaging and the box art for Halloween costumes of the '60s, and that's what we wore as kids for many years. So it has a warm spot in my heart. I wish they would still do costumes like that instead of gory rubber foam costumes from Walking Dead and things like that. You don't see enough of those colorful characters anymore.
Right, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Okay, Rick, here's another section of the of your house, and where are we standing in right now?
This is the room that I work in. with my computer stuff and packing mail and do artwork and things like that.
Do you do it for a business, or do you just do it for your own personal?
It's both.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, it's not as profitable as we would like. But yeah, we do a lot of different things for a lot of different people, and it's all about making people happy.
Yeah, definitely in this room. Now, you see also a lot of Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis pictures. Were you fans of them as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have a one sheet from each of their films and tons of lobby cards and all kinds of rare memorabilia of Martin and Lewis.
And then I see Sean Connery, James Bond, which things I've never seen before existed.
Yeah, well, Sean Connery is James Bond to me. There is no other James Bond. But yeah, I love James Bond. And so yeah, I have a big collection of spy memorabilia too.
And again, just glancing around the room, I see, the Thunderbirds, the classic Thunderbirds.
Oh, yeah.
Was 60s just the era that what you could comment on where maybe a lot of creativity was? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Jerry Anderson did all of those marionette, super marionation puppet shows. And those are similar to Rankin Bass in that, you had characters like Troy Tempest, and we would see it on WGN as kids and wonder, how did they do that? And not only were they marionettes, but they also had some kind of computer working their mouths and eyes and things when people were, syncing the dialogue. So not many people know that, but he developed his own kind of puppet style.
You rang, milady?
And then you had a cabinet of WGN. Again, a lot of WGN back in the 60s, 70s really brought an outlet for them to showcase this stuff.
Yeah, well, my earliest memories as a kid was Garfield, Goose and Friends, and Bozo Circus and Ray Rayner. And I remember Clutch Cargo coming on as a kid, and just all the different segments, and VJ and Dirty Dragon and the cartoons he showed. And it's just, I think that's what formed my love of pop culture, period.
Well, let's talk about the Rankin and Bass. So how did you get involved with Rankin and Bass?
Well, it was through Jack Davis and Paul Coker. I was talking to them on the phone and realized that they designed most of the Rankin Bass films. And I asked Jack Davis, whatever happened to them? You haven't heard anything about them in a long time. And he said, oh, I'm still doing work, and give Paul Coker a call. So I did. And Paul Coker gave me Arthur Rankin's phone number in Bermuda. And I called him up there and said I wanted to do a book. And he said, give me 2 chapters. So I put together 2 chapters. And this was at the point when computers were just starting. So I kind of cut and pasted it together and sent it to him, and he liked it, and he sent me his life story on a little cassette. And the book started from there. I think he envisioned a book that was going to be mostly text and tell his story, but my book was more of a visual documentation of everything that they did.
And maybe for those who don't know, that the Rankin and Bass were the ones responsible for the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman. It goes on. Those Santa Claus is coming to town. Those things. So how did they get started with? They probably didn't expect it to be shown today, but where did they came with the idea of doing such classic Christmas stories?
Well, they started with Pinocchio because Arthur's favorite Disney film was Pinocchio. So he did a syndicated series based on Pinocchio that was part of all the children's shows of the 60s. So they showed it on Garfield, Goose and Friends, and they showed it in all these different markets. And it took a long time to make any money from that. They also did Tales of the Wizard of Oz, which was another segmented series. So Arthur's neighbor was Johnny Marks, who wrote the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And he would see him at parties. And he said, you know, we should make this into a television special. And they got Return to Oz on the air based on their series. And that was the first thing that they did for NBC. The second thing was Rudolph. And when Rudolph hit, it was a major success. It got him a movie deal with Joseph E. Levine, 3 pictures. It got him another special on NBC, The Ballad of Smokey the Bear. And it just opened up a lot of doors. So once they did that, that was kind of the template for what was to come for the next 20, 30 years.
Wahoo! Nothing.
Also, what was really neat is that stop motion animation, which was not really used in a lot of stuff, and they really brought it to the forefront, especially on TV.
Right. Well, their form of it was called Animagic, and that was a perfect name because there is magic in that stop motion, and it was done in Japan. And as I was growing up as a kid watching these shows, I would have no idea that was made in Japan. It looks so American, you know, Hermie the dentist and all these characters, Sam the snowman. You wouldn't think they were animated in Japan, but Arthur found studios in Japan that were so ahead of their time. He knew that this would be big on American television, especially if he brought personality to the characters, but actually giving them characterization that wasn't seen in that art form with Fred Astaire and Boris Karloff and Burl Ives. I mean, you don't even think of them as puppets. You think of them as these characters you grew up with your entire life. The Heat Miser and Snow Miser, and I mean, they have so much personality. The Winter Warlock, the Burgermeister, Meisterburger. It's just incredible, like the amount of personality they brought into the art form.
So you said Arthur Rankin kind of looked at in Japan. Was it his partner Jules Bass that formed the company, or how did that come about?
Well, Arthur started the company in the 50s, and it was called Videocraft International, and primarily they worked on commercials. And Jules was at an ad agency, and he would often see him at different functions and different things that they were working on, and really was a good friend that he brought in. And then they changed the name to Rankin Bass in the mid-60s, and he became a co-producer with Arthur. And his function was primarily in New York. He wrote all the lyrics to all the songs. He worked with a lot of the voice actors, and he had different functions that Arthur didn't. Arthur was in Japan a lot. He loved Japan, he loved the culture, and he also loved the animators and worked with them. So they all put their talents together and formed this company. So he formed this core of people that were really, really talented.
Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door.
And the biggest one is also those songwriters, because those tunes just resonate today.
Well, the Johnny Mark songs in Rudolph are phenomenal, and he had a long time to come up with those songs. Rudolph was written prior, and Holly Jolly Christmas was a big hit when the show came out. But after that, it was Maury Laws and Jules Bass that Put One Foot in Front of the Other, and the Heat Miser and Snow Miser songs, and the songs in Here Comes Peter Cottontail, which are tremendous. So that songwriting team was perfect for what Rankin Bass was doing.
In the puzzle of life, there is one piece that keeps it from breaking. You can tell when it's there from the sound that you're on. heartbeat is making.
And one thing that I think of the Christmas time is that I actually saw for the first time Mad Monster Party on Christmas Eve, which was really a Halloween type of movie. But to this day, I mean, as a full feature, like you said, those characters come to life.
Oh, yeah. Mad Monster Party, it was the 50th anniversary this year. And Shag, the artist, friend of mine, did a nice print, and we did a book signing out in West Hollywood and Palm Springs. So there's a huge following for Mad Monster Party. It really inspired Tim Burton to do Nightmare Before Christmas, and it inspired a lot of people to get into the animation and art world.
And they never seem to, at least now recently, sort of done the merchandising end or maybe even a theme park. Were they not interested, or were they ever approached to something like that?
Well, General Electric owned all of the shows.
Oh, okay.
And they formed an entertainment division called Tomorrow Entertainment. So that was financed by General Electric, so they owned it. So they got a portion of the sales of the show, but they don't get like residuals from it every time it's aired now, and they wouldn't have benefited in the merchandising so much. So it's interesting that a big company like GE owned all the shows. Like today, you know, all these mergers and all these big companies are taking over. Even the Rankin Bass specials have been bought and sold many, many times.
Did GE then strike the deal with CBS to play it every year, or how did that come about, that CBS?
Yeah, that's how it went about. And then eventually Lorne Michaels bought the catalog, you know, the producer of Saturday Night Live, and then he sold it to Golden Books, and then it got sold and sold and sold. But yeah, GE was part of the process of getting the shows on the air and them staying on the air. Actually, Rudolph started on NBC and then switched over to CBS in the early 70s, early to mid 70s. And it's stayed there ever since. And it's always the ratings winner for the week. So you would think they'd want to do a nice documentary and extend those ratings. But so far, no deal.
Well, let's talk about your book, because there's more information about the story of Rankin and Bass that created these holiday classics. Let's hear about the book.
Well, the 20th anniversary edition of The Enchanted World of Rankin Bass came out, and the 20th anniversary was November 20th of this year. And now it's 412 pages. It started out at 176, so it's a big book loaded with color.
Did you get to talk to either Arthur Rankin and Jules Bass?
Oh, yeah. I talked to both of them, and Arthur and I formed a really strong friendship. So we kept that relationship up for a long, long time until he passed away in 2014. He didn't quite get to see the 50th anniversary of Rudolph, but he knew about the postage stamps because I helped with those. So he was pretty honored by his characters being featured on U.S. postage stamps.
Do you have a website or a Facebook that people can look or check out your books?
Yeah, miserbros.com. It's miserbros.com. And I also keep a blog at enchantedworldofrankinbass.blogspot.com, which I post things on daily, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook and all of those social media places.
Well, thank you for sharing the stories of Rankin and Bass and letting us in your house with all this great memorabilia here, and it's a great toy house. And we thank you so much, Rick, for letting us in, and thanks so much. And I always want to say it, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.